Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to North America's Building Trades Union's 2021 Virtual Legislative Conference. Needless to say, the past year has been unlike any in modern history. Like all of you, we certainly would prefer to be in person with you at the Hilton in Washington, D.C. But in the spirit of doing this as responsibly and as safely as the experts continue to advise, we prudently follow that guidance and do the best we can with what we have. Under the continuing pandemic circumstances, I sincerely appreciate the Governing Board of Presidents' thoughtful decision-making to make this conference possible for our state and regional councils and our international unions. And I personally want to thank all of you for your understanding and cooperation as we, as a continent and a world, continue to work through this pandemic. Our Governing Board, Secretary-Treasurer Booker, and I are honored that you are joining us today from all 14 unionized construction affiliates and the hundreds of building trades councils, which represent both rural and urban communities in every state across this great nation. As I always say, I'm happy to be among family, especially right now. First and foremost, I want to let you know the immense pride that we feel in calling you brother and sister. In the darkest days, when nobody in this country or the world knew which way was up, as always, you stepped up. You are essential. You left your families hunkered down. You went out and you kept the power on so our healthcare facilities could do their job. You kept the roads open. You built temporary field hospitals and morgues. Whatever was required, you did it, as you always do. You, brothers and sisters, are what's right about this country. Thank you. The pandemic, shutdowns, civil unrest, economic downturns, and our federal government's transition left North America with a lot of cleaning up to do. All these things impact construction, both for our industry and labor. While the past 15 months produced devastating pain and suffering, the same period also led to unparalleled opportunity. As we gather together this morning, I would like to share an overview of how far you have come these last few years. But before we go forward, we must first go back. The last presidential administration came into town making big, bold promises to you. They tried to sell you on the idea that they supported middle-class jobs, that they supported unions, that they supported the dignity of work. Well, rhetoric is one thing, but the reality of their broken promises is different. They promised you pension relief and then didn't do it. They promised you investment in infrastructure and then didn't do it. They promised not to mess with the registered apprenticeship system, and they tried. In January of 2020, NABTU's Governing Board of Presidents unanimously approved and invested in a comprehensive political education program in key battleground states, long before anyone even knew who the Democratic presidential candidate was going to be. It was absolutely imperative to try to move votes in deep red counties in key states and to go where Democrats traditionally don't go. Our program did that with tremendous results. It was also imperative that we reach skeptical rank and file membership and engage them to make clear what was at stake. Even being put in a hard position with tough conversations, you got it done. From the governing board to business managers to international staff, local union officers to member activists, everyone else who played a role in member education, your efforts made a real difference. Now fast forward 10 months, and election day or election week really was upon us. When it became official that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were the president and vice president-elect, their administration's transition team immediately engaged with you in every important aspect of the construction industry. You got more than just rhetoric. You got a seat at the table. Now, I'll be honest here. When Inauguration Day rolled around, the Keystone Pipeline decision, as you're well aware, is something that we were not happy about. None of us supported that decision. But we knew this was an issue and that we would have to deal with it at some point, just not the first day. Since that executive order came down, you name it, the Biden administration and the new Democratic Congress have been working diligently to help you, your members, and their families across the country. The administration removed the General Counsel of the National Labor Relations Board, whose continued presence would have had the potential for devastating effects on public sector project labor agreements, putting the Boston Harbor decision in serious peril. Soon after that, they got to work on the American Rescue Package, the most impactful piece of legislation for the poor, working class, and middle class in my entire lifetime. This package featured direct stimulus payments, extended unemployment, COBRA expansion, child care tax credits, and $86 billion in pension relief that you've been advocating for almost 20 years. The inclusion of pension relief in this monumental legislation is a prime example of how the relationships you've built over decades had the president and the Democratic congressional leaders focused on fixing this problem, not created by you or your contractors. Again, you heard the rhetoric from the last administration, but this president and this Democratic Congress, well, they got it done. The administration has also fiercely supported unions as a whole. Anytime you turn on the TV and a member of the administration is on, you'll probably hear them say unions built the middle class in this country, and that's 100% correct. Now it's time to rebuild unions. From the executive order creating the White House Task Force for Worker Organizing and Empowerment to their public support of the Protecting the Right to Organize Act, this administration has stood by American workers every step of the way. They fully support the PRO Act to level the playing field and give workers a choice. You know, it was only 12 years ago when another piece of labor legislation, the Employee Free Choice Act, which was passed by Nancy Pelosi in the House, never even got a hearing in committee in a 60-vote majority Democratic United States Senate. This is the kind of support that workers have been waiting for decades. The PRO Act represents what could possibly become America's first national labor law reform in generations. Not only would it effectively end misguided so-called right-to-work laws, but more generally speaking, it would also reinforce labor right protections, organizing freedoms, and collective bargaining rights. Implementation of the PRO Act would immensely support workers and their ability to have their voice heard and be respected on the job and in contract negotiations. We also supported the administration's goals, which we share, to bring more women, people of color, veterans, and those involved in the justice system into the construction industry workforce. Through our game-changing Tradeswomen Build Nations program, our rapidly expanding apprenticeship readiness programs across the U.S., in schools, training centers, and correctional institutions, through our lean-in circles, and through our work with the DOL to promote a more diverse construction workforce, we are transforming our industry one family at a time. This year, in fact, we have reached the highest percentage of female enrollment in MC3, with nearly a quarter of current MC3 graduates being women, and we have more work to do. As we fight to strengthen and diversify the industry, it is vital that we and you continue to work closely with Congress and this administration to make serious strides to successfully reach our shared goals. At the end of the day, we are not going to agree on everything. But when you compare the record in the last 60 years to what we've seen in the first 4 months of this administration, it's pretty astonishing what's been done. All that time and effort you put in, whether it was knocking on doors, phone banking, you name it, all of your work was to get the right candidates in office. The time is now to turn those efforts into getting an infrastructure deal done. We applaud the package introduced by President Biden and are working tirelessly with you to make sure that strong labor standards are included in the final version of this legislation. Any investment in infrastructure of any kind must also be an investment in the people that build America. We cannot allow labor standards to be collateral damage in these ongoing negotiations. If a project receives federal investment, either in whole or in part, strong labor standards like prevailing wage, registered apprenticeship utilization, and local hire absolutely must be attached to it. These projects must spur middle-class job creation in communities all across the nation, especially for communities of color, at-risk communities, women and veterans in our training programs, to successfully spur a renaissance of domestic manufacturing and become the foundation for future economic growth. The time is now to get this done. We know the window can close quickly. Soon, Congress will be working on re-election campaigns. Between now and this fall, tell your personal stories to your congressional members. Tell them about our gold standard training model. Tell them about the pathways a career in the building trades can create. Tell them about the real economic opportunity that comes with investing in our nation's infrastructure. And be sure to tell all the so-called leaders, like Ted Cruz and Tom Cotton and John Cornyn, of the new so-called blue-collar party, too. They have yet to vote in favor of a single piece of pro-worker legislation. They'll get another bite at the apple with infrastructure in the PRO Act, though. So we'll see if they come around. I will not hold my breath, but knock on their doors, too. Listen, the pandemic isn't over yet, and our economy isn't back to full strength. There is no better way to honor the legacy of those we lost and all that has been sacrificed than to help this administration and Congress get these major pieces of legislation that matter to regular people in this country across the finish line. We're happy to work with anyone that's willing to listen in order to get it done. Brothers and sisters, it's a good start for us. In the past 60 years, I have never seen an administration prioritize workers as much as this one. If the past few months are a sign of what's to come, as far as the poor, the working class, and the building trades are concerned, where we're not just outside the gates, but actually have a seat at the table and a voice in deciding critical economic, energy, and labor issues for our great nation, brothers and sisters, there are even better days ahead for us. The time is now to create ladders of opportunity for communities that have been left behind for far too long. The time is now to invest in the middle class. The time is now to empower hardworking Americans to unionize. We are the building trades, and the time is now to finish this job. And for the first time in our lifetimes, have a federal government that actually works for us. On behalf of our Governing Board of Presidents and the 3 million building trades members and their families across North America, thank you. Stay safe, stay well, and may God bless our country, and may God bless the building trades.